Whoa.
You better watch out.
You better watch out. You are my baby.
You know what you did.
Time to turn on the thing so I can see what you're doing. Bum 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 bum.
Bum, 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 bum.
Twitter. Are we doing any atses?
We could probably post something in surprise round and stabbing
Sure.
us, but maybe avoid doing a full-on at just because
Yeah.
there's a little Yu-Gi-Oh thing going on over there.
You can
Side
add and
it.
surprise around.
No, they're doing it there.
What? Doing what? Or no, I
They're
said
doing
surprise round. I
Yu-Gi-Oh!
meant
and surprise
stabbiness. My bad.
Ah, yes.
Hmm.
They both start with an S, which according to my brain means they're the same word.
Mm-hmm. Bum, 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 bum. Oh boy, oh boy. We left off on quite the cliffhanger.
And giving Yam a couple minutes to.
Yeah, her rig might need a little bit time to juice back up.
Yeah. No, it had like a weird hum noise from her microphone.
Ah, that was probably her fan.
No, this was not a
It was
fan. This was
digital.
like a,
Oh,
yeah,
a
it was
cord.
maybe. No idea. But hello, folks in chat. Yeah, sorry, a little slower start today, but we're getting there. Hello.
Hi, I'm back. Is it still happening?
I
Yes,
think it's gone.
It's not as bad. Like the music masks it mostly.
Yeah, because before it was like an audible, like kind of noise. It was like, yeah, it was weird.
Oh, Amy, let me come see what you have with your setup. Hold on.
See, what do you have in your mouth? Drop it. Boy, I of all the animals, I really can't do dog sounds.
I mean,
Bark.
that's probably fine. Bark. For some reason, we're like, bark, bark, gracias, bark.
Gracias. Soy un perro.
Bonjour. Dun, dun, dun. It's happening! Yeah, let's go to gallery. Moving pictures.
How about now?
I think it's better. This is cute.
Yeah, I think you're gonna be rocking now.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's still happening, I can't notice it without like focusing
Actively.
on Discord. So
Okay, well, I can sit on mute while I'm not talking.
Yeah. I know it was weird, but it sounds much, much, much better now.
Yeah,
alright.
like I was in a call earlier and nobody was complaining about it, so
Is Civ here, or did he decide to leave?
I think he's coming back.
Mm.
Shame you live in such an enormous house.
Well, Civ is very tiny.
Civ has to wait for the little mouse conductor that runs the train he uses to get around.
Yeah, and I have to push the train for him.
Up, up, up. Oh boy.
Okay.
Alright.
Welcome back.
Okay, last time we met a man, he had a bomb. We ignored it, and then a different bomb exploded. Let's go.
The bomb he
Hooray!
planted several days prior. I shouldn't have turned off the light in here. I don't know why I did that. It's just gonna give me a headache. 24th October.
Good morning to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? I hope so. I should be... Oh.
Good morning, my dear fellows!
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here.
Why, naturally, a true gentleman stands shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'll see you later then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm. You gotta remain calm in the courtroom today.
Yes, do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again.
Yes, I will. I realized it was a mistake, but
My dear fellows, I must interject!
Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes. What's the matter?
Surely you've overlooked some praise, have you not? To be cast in my direction?
Sorry,
No.
I don't follow.
Must I spell it out? I, the great Hairlock Sholmes.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't read the rest of it.
I was trying to do sound balancing. I forgot this game considers clicking off the window, clicking on the window insanely.
The greatest detective of worldwide acclamation arose at some ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning. A miracle. You must agree.
Well, if I must agree, then...
As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris had to empty her full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me, and kicked me from the bed. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestrided.
Oh, my. Iris has been busy.
Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice. I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes in the infinite possibilities of blending tea.
I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory.
Bro, you're
Nope.
annoying.
Oh, didn't... Stop. What did you say? Will?
Yeah, sorry. Let's see here. Sorry to cut in.
Oh, that's me now. Oh, Inspector Gregson, good morning.
Gregson, my dear fellow, why the grim expression at this delightfully early hour?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, eh?
Dear me, are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor?
What? I don't know! Poor Professor. I don't understand what that exchange was.
No, me
Anyway,
neither.
here's the paperwork you asked for.
What paperwork?
I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful.
It won't.
You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of archives. It's the professor's autopsy report.
Ooh, that mass murderess?
Oh, okay. I got confused. I thought he was referring to Hairbrain as the professor. I forgot the professor is another character
Right.
who killed 5 members of the aristocracy.
Good for him.
He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps. And he was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here.
Killer's autopsy report has been out of the court record. Let's look at it. Oh, I have a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Condemned prisoner.
Redacted. Pseudonym the professor. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight 17 June. Courtney Stevens. Girl, you got married?
I don't know what to say. Thank you, Professor and Inspector. Sorry, twist.
Yes, much obliged, Gregson.
Us lowly lot of the yard are just doing what we can, in the shadow of the great Detective Sholmes, of course.
He vanished.
Here, I'm going to restart my router super fast because I keep randomly losing internet.
Okay. Well then, Professor Hairbrain, this is it. Today we're going to lay this all to rest at last.
I wish you the best of luck, Professor.
Don't think I've examined the professor's head. Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to.
Clong.
What's up with the little hook on the back of it? Little clasp?
I think that's just a lock.
Oh, you can unlock it. The little thinger thing.
Nope.
No clicky?
Yeah,
Oh,
you can
there.
open it.
Oh, key.
This lock doesn't look very strong, does it? What are you talking about? There's definitely... what did he say? Did he say it did look strong or didn't?
Didn't.
Well, okay.
What a terrible way to treat someone, even a convicted criminal.
Thanks, Homestar Runner Extra. I know. It's starting to make me livid, actually. I'm so mad.
Just another hurdle, please.
I mean, just think about it. Imagine if you had an itch on your cheek all of a sudden. You'd be utterly helpless.
Well, yes, that's true. But I'm not sure that warrants quite so much anger.
Oh, right. Sorry. Civ talking to me when I'm talking about Hunter x Hunter or some shit.
Jello getting unfathomably mad at Dart.
No, that one is completely justified.
I already read that line.
Oh, sorry. I suppose he'll be in there today, will he? Drepa.
Yes, we... What?
There was another line. Don't worry about it.
Oh. Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness.
I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much.
Counsel and the defendant, the trial's about to resume. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once.
Oh, scary.
This is it then. This really will be the final chapter. Funny.
Oh.
My heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before, actually. Strange foreboding. As if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters, finding the truth.
Finding the truth.
I wasn't expecting that. My accent.
This really will be the final.
Oh, yeah.
Eureka, Susato. Oh, Corn Girl's back.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. To resume the public hearing of Albert Halegrave, here present, who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed?
No.
I have a tummy ache.
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
Sorry, no, I do not want to exit OBS. I'm trying to
Look
mess
how
her.
small Kazuma is. I mean, my assistant.
Still messing with
Pats him on
levels.
the head. Good.
You brought my wine. Thank you.
Thought you were gonna say wife.
The whole court just, aww.
Aw, guilty. The defense is ready, my lord. As promised, Lord Van Zeeks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss.
I'll kill him.
Dots.
If I
I'm
may, Lord
studying
Van-
his weak points.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks,
Who the fuck is that?
Yes, my lord.
there appears to be someone standing at your side.
Well,
Lord Van Zeeks!
uh-oh, he died again.
Ah, yes. My apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceeding will see the complexity of this case rise considerably.
I just randomly was
I therefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial.
Bro.
Still, what are you doing? Open up volume control. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, I think we're all having troubles today.
I'm doing all right. I got chips. I got tea. The sky is very pretty.
Yeah, I just keep
There's a
randomly
lovely
losing internet.
meteor. And the smooth running
Nothing
of
could go wrong.
and the smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it.
The way he holds himself, the way he moves. It couldn't be anyone else.
But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment.
I know, but this is so very hard.
would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question.
Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly.
Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in this courtroom today, are you ready and willing to proceed?
Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty.
I don't quite remember. Was this me or was this Amy?
It's you.
That's you.
Oh, it's me again. I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing. Is it wearing? I don't know.
Weird.
To take a man's life with a conjuring trick. It is against the magician's code not to mention the law.
Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me.
Christ, bro.
We have to listen to a sound both sides of the fence and then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
I don't remember what I did for her.
Good enough.
Was this
Was
one?
me?
I don't remember. He didn't talk very often.
I think it was Jello.
Okay.
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
All parties are ready to proceed. You may begin, Lord Van Six.
We used to be a real country.
Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court.
My apprentice's report card. He got a B+.
Yes, it's very impressive. Yesterday at the Great Exhibition Grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case, the super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage, was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons.
It was... What? An explosion?
You mean this hasn't come to light?
This is an outrage!
Yeah, I mean, it only happened like 12 hours ago, so...
I guess. You'd think it would be in the newspaper, though. Like, they're fast about that.
It's the newspaper.
Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithers, and the wreckage reduced the ashes in the flames.
I have here a photographic print of the scene, taken in the wake of the explosion. It shows what little remains of the machine. Yes, that's a big clue.
Yes, a terrible business.
I wonder if people missed that one.
He did it to destroy the evidence, did he?
That Enoch Trevor.
The court will take this print as evidence, counsel.
You got the print.
Late yesterday afternoon, the protection afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial.
I never noticed that his little, like, pauldron things look like blades.
Oh, yeah.
As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity.
Indeed. A most unfortunate state of affairs.
I think you might need to get closer to the mic or something,
Yeah.
Amy, because you're very quiet, and comparatively, the continue hum floor is quite loud at your volume level right now.
Most unfortunate state of affairs.
That's a lot better, and I didn't hear the hum that time somehow.
Yeah.
However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was a murder. Of that, we can be certain. For it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and who ultimately caused its loss of control.
Objection. As the Lord Van Zieks rightly says,
Thank you.
this is a very different trial now.
He's so hot.
The accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Asman died as a result of the accident caused by his machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor... he is called a professor sometimes. Alright, that's just confusing. He was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters.
Names, counsel, if you please. I'm sorry, I'm fiddling with my audio.
It sounds a little better. I can't hear the engineer,
Really?
Mr. Yeah, no, it's gone. The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Asman. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defendant's... my defense, who is me, intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant, who is being defended by me.
Yeah.
Thank you, counsels. The position of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated.
Yeah, whatever you did, it's perfect now.
Yeah! Lord Von Zeeks, summon your first witness, please.
No.
At once, my lord. The prosecution
Yes!
calls the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to the stand.
Whoa!
I am here now.
Freak ass!
State your name and occupation for the court.
Freak ass.
Name, Enoch Drebber. Occupation, hard to pin down, I would say.
See that black monocle?
Yes, why do I feel as though I've seen it somewhere before?
Oh, you too? I had exactly the same feeling myself.
Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business.
But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind.
You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago. The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration.
You saw the same comment I did, I take it.
I think so. Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there? This fucking weirdo.
It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement?
Yes, I constructed it in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all.
Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure.
I will never learn that it continues clicking. It just continues clicking no matter where I click.
Would spacebar be more efficient?
No, the problem is I'm trying to click off of the window to do other things with the sound and to look at Twitch chat, and every time it advances the
Bizarre.
dialogue. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last. What?
Good gracious! Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir?
Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up. Who could have done such a thing? But we've already established that the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection. You've established nothing of the sort.
Huh?
All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of stage trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility, nothing more.
But...
We've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witnesses, you will now give your formal testimony.
The judge just leaned forward and dropped a hairball upon me.
No, the fucking Becky commented.
Becky.
I'll never be free!
About the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration at the Great Exhibition.
Soy baby, understood.
Bro, not while I'm drinking.
I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Asman's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints, and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow? A body double? That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something resetting, has moved when in reality it hasn't. It's a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be achieved without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines?
Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Asman had no twin siblings.
That's my understanding.
God, even the escape key doesn't pause it. It just advances.
It's my understanding that the witness is well versed in conjuring artfulness. But such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims. Namely, the construction of what, by all accounts, must have been an extremely complex scientific machine.
Whatever do you mean?
Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber.
Indeed it did, my lord. As a swindler who preys on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how. Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field.
Investigation of the witness's workshop attests to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent in science there.
Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves.
If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation, with sufficient skill. Though I may have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past.
Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was...
an unfortunate accident? Or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science? God, he really is steampunk Sephiroth.
Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Hee-ha-hoo-hoo-ha-ha-ha.
Becky.
This guy does have one of my favorite designs in any attorney game. I love it.
It's so good, bro.
I'm obviously gonna milk him for as much dialogue as I can get. So you were already acquainted with Mr. Asman himself? Not really. By chance, I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers, that's all. But I had no interest in his private affairs. This guy, his orange words of emphasis are so strange compared to everyone else's. I wonder if that's supposed to be indicating a specific way he speaks. If he was an unscrupulous investor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools and construct what they ask for. So why did Mr. Asman approach you in particular, then? Who can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering. Not to mention excellence in fraud. Do not be mean to me. Resetting. Hard to gauge. But the point is, all I did was construct the machine according to the blueprints I was given.
In other words, the Kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles.
Yes, you might say that. Professor Hairbrain certainly has a mind like no other.
I do like that he's got plus and minus for his little buttons.
It's so I conduct.
I'm wondering what's up with the fact that he's got, like, 3 belts on one sleeve and then 2 on the other.
It's clear. I wouldn't read too far into that.
I'm gonna.
It's clear that you when Ace Attorney has a hint to a character that you're supposed to notice, it is not subtle.
Oh, you know, that's a good point. Somebody in chat says, I think it was katakana, which can demonstrate emphasis, but also robotic text. I think. Going off of that, I would say the orange text was probably loan words he was using.
Okay. It's clear that you both fuck. It's clear that you both fuck. Thank you.
Oh.
I am experienced in many fields. It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think. It's a possibility that we have to explore. Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So, there's really nothing left to explore, is there? He's such a fucker.
Slimeball.
It appears that the kinesis machine was fitted with a timed explosive device of some kind.
Yes, about 5 sticks of dynamite and a Sweissman clock, if I had to guess.
Yes, that's exactly it.
And there's nothing left of that device either. Not a single shred of evidence remaining. I hear. He must have all planned this from the outset. But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment couldn't have been a trick. Let's find out. Did he have a twin? The first thing I think is that, like, maybe it's a wax double and the head that we have is the guy's double head, but...
Yeah.
It's gotta connect to, like, the thievery of the professor.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Of course! That's it! Mr. Asman has a twin!
Objection. Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Asman had no twin siblings.
What about triplets?
No, I heard you before, but the thread of hope hadn't quite left me.
The demonstration could have been a trick if there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Scythe absolutely ruled out that that was a possibility.
This is my snack.
It is beyond question that the victim himself, Mr. Asman, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. The fingerprints found at the scene attest to the fact.
So it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looked identical to Mr. Asman then. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, nothing. Just that the idea of someone who looked identical to the victim is playing on my mind.
I wonder why.
I love this gauntlet has nails. That's the cherry on top for me.
He's just got a great color scheme. It crashed head first, you say? According to the many witness reports from those there at the time, yes. Were you not there at the exhibition grounds on the day? Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop. Yet another one of your unique inventions was found at the scene. Well, it was the unveiling of a machine I'd labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes. The birdcage plummeted headfirst into the tower. What a surprise. I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it? How could you have come by that information? Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body. Yes, he'd been stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver believed to belong to the defendant, and he had broken vertebrae as a result of a fall from a considerable height.
Correct. My learned friend has been doing his research, it seems.
Do we know which injury was the fatal one?
Sadly not. Forensic science is not yet at a level where such things can be determined. What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment. And since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken,
It's obvious that he fell from a considerable height.
Suppose that's hard to deny.
There are other ways to break a man's neck.
No, there are.
Like from afar.
So you understood the science, did you?
No, not. Oh, not in the slightest. Oh! Right. As I've said a number of times, I'm an engineer. My job is to manufacture according to the blueprints I'm given. I would be inviting manifold problems if I foolishly allowed my brain to digest the ideas behind them. I could be accused of stealing those ideas, for example.
But how is it possible to construct a machine without really understanding the principles it relies on?
Well, you're practicing law without really understanding the principles it relies on, aren't you?
Damn. A very good point. Don't say that!
He got your ass! He got your ass good!
the point is, the experiment resulted in instantaneous kinesis taking place. As such, the science must be sound.
Yes, and really, experimental results are all that matters when it comes to proving a hypothesis.
He's certainly very sure of himself.
What do you think, Mr. Naruto?
Well, now that the machine has been completely destroyed by yesterday's explosion, it's going to be impossible to argue its authenticity one way or the other.
But if we're unable to establish that it was a piece of stage trickery rather than a genuine science, we will have no grounds on which to demonstrate Professor Harebrain's innocence.
Both Mr. Asman and this man in the stand tricked the professor and used him. They took advantage of his naivete and his unbending belief in his work, and I won't let them get away with it. And seeing as the professor is an old friend of Lord Van Zeek's, what on earth must he be feeling towards Drebber? Yo, want to get this guy?
Get his ass.
Okay.
He's full of motor oil. I don't like it.
So what could we possibly refute? We could go after... Oh, nope, right. Trying to remember the controls. It was no trick. We could re-insist it is a trick. Did he have a twin? We could be like, there's a wax body double.
All the spectators saw a birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. Did they see it appear?
Yeah, let's look at the newspaper. Oh, I can't read it. Let's find out. Every article on the front page, public experiments. Okay, no, this is from the day before. And then there's a lost cat. Let's see what we got. Crossbow belongs to Drebber. We got that confirmed. Piece of green cloth. Experiment sketch. Oops. Yeah, not all of them saw it, because the ones who were really close to the base of the tower couldn't see it, but like I don't actually know what that would matter or how I'd point that out.
Yeah.
You zoom in on him?
Oh, Piff.
Piff's neck is broken and he was stabbed. That's consistent. Let's look at the autopsy report.
Every week with that Piff guy.
Okay, Courtney Scythe.
Time of death around 2 p.m. and
Okay.
no.
Hemorrhage of the wound to the chest that pierced his heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observations: broken vertebra, likely resulting from the impact after a sudden fall from a considerable height. No contradictions there. Okay. We could look at the balloon.
I'm thinking it might have something to do with, yeah, it said everybody saw the thing appear.
I think you're
wondering if the timeline
right.
is correct there.
Well, that wouldn't be the timeline. It's the angle of the incident. Yeah, we already looked at
Oh,
this.
here's the thing. Hang on. Crashed down with the victim inside into the crystal towers, causing no damage to its base. But then it said that it crashed headlong.
Causing damage to the base, so yeah,
damage.
it didn't fall head first.
It didn't crash head first, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can try
Yeah, I
that.
just noticed that the bottom was busted.
Way to go, Yam. High five.
Yeah,
High five.
I would not have noticed that. That's pretty sneaky. We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the crystal tower ourselves. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained damage in one particular spot.
Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the crystal tower. That level of damage is to be expected, surely.
Yeah, this case is mean, chat says. Yeah, that's tricky, but it is fair. It is a direct contradiction.
Yeah.
I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage.
Cocky little fucker.
Exclamation point. Use this moment.
Oh,
He just
fuck.
explodes. All of the birdcage... Wait. All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top.
What are you saying?
That's the opposite of where they should be.
That's right, my lord. Good job. The bird...
Oh, does it do a flipperoo and then, like, upside down, pops the guy out and puts a different man in? I don't know.
She was like, what? The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two bird cages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery.
God, it's like a long coat thing, too.
Good gracious! Explain yourself, witness.
I am a liar. Well...
If we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower. Hey,
Sorry to interrupt you with my loud voice, but multiple witness reports claim it fell head first.
the birdcage materialized in the sky next to a balloon flying over the stage, following a spontaneous boom.
Someone...
Oh, did it fall out of the bottom of the balloon?
Someone in chat, convict him of perjury. You are not familiar with this series, I see.
At an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level.
Which is approximately 18 meters.
It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the ensuing deflagration. That pronounced it pretty wrong. Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
Objection.
But
Stop it.
but the victim's neck was broken.
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed.
I crushed more than that, I mean... A riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there. Though, to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebra, actually. What?
How do you know that?
How do you know that?
I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Van Zieks. This witness is clearly a swindler and one who deceived a personal friend of his.
If you're going to establish this deception, do it right.
Sorry?
I feel like that's the undertone here.
Ah, yes, and there's one more point the defense appears to have forgotten. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth very plainly demonstrates. What?
Clonk.
Seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Drebber, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth.
No, thank you.
I nearly had him there.
Reset. My mother was a crane game.
The first of her kind.
My father pulled me out of her, a wee bab. It was the cheapest birth ever, 1/4. The kinesis clearly took place, because there's nowhere else 30 feet high from the birdcage to have fallen from. The balloon. I'll press it anyway, but the balloon, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Balloon.
Well, before the demonstration began, the victim was alive on stage in front of the audience.
Yes, there are lots of witnesses who saw Mr. Asman on the experimentation stage, that's true.
And the victim's neck broke as a result of an impact following a fall. Logically, therefore, the victim must have fallen from somewhere.
The balloon, the balloon that exploded was at an altitude of 60 feet. The point of impact of the tower was 30 feet up. That difference of 30 feet is therefore the total distance the cage fell.
And there's no other location from which the cage could have fallen that distance if it didn't drop out of the sky. Okay, so I think we're supposed to present the photo that has the hole in it, ergo. The victim himself must have been beamed from the stage into the sky above the crystal tower.
Trenchant?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Scientific analysis. Dear me, every time I hear it explained, it sounds increasingly plausible.
It's not,
I'm
sir.
very gullible.
Oh, yes. It's all very well thought out.
Certainly all the spectators on the day saw it. The birdcage plummeting 30 feet through the air, I mean.
Irritatingly, yes. Yeah, so it's got to be the platform with the hole in it. Okay. So we've got... It was near the end, right? Yeah, let's take a look at this. I don't think I can examine it because it's a photograph. I think I just gotta press it.
Objection.
Nope. Probably
Damn.
half a step too ahead.
Yeah, I think right now we're addressing how the body would have fallen.
Yeah,
I think there's like a trap door in the bottom of the thing.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. I think that's pretty direct. It's like, there's nowhere else he could have fallen. He fell through
Just
the
check the
tower.
other statements.
I mean, they're all the same. I'd be surprised if that
Terrible
this...
accident. The machine was flawed somehow.
I mean, it doesn't actually work, so that's not what we're trying to prove. It shows a fraud. Did he have a twin? Check the blueprints from his workshop. What? Do I have blueprints from his workshop?
Do we have? Weren't
I
they
don't-
like...
I don't remember having those. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Autopsy? Oh, wait. Go back to the final picture there. Post-explosion photograph. Okay, no, that's not it.
No. You have a diagram. Where? No, I don't.
Oh, is it the experiment sketch? But that's not really a
That's not a blueprint.
30 feet. Okay. Well, there's that second level to the tower.
That's not it. We're trying to prove he fell down through this.
Okay. Well, maybe the fact that it was kind of empty.
Also,
Shaped like
if
a bell.
show this, I'm just gonna look it up for expediency. Honestly, I'll just grab the strategy guide. Show this. Hang on. I'm just gonna look it up for fucking Christ. Christ. Holy shit.
Christ.
We're the Christ.
Walk on water and make it wine. Christ.
Walk on water and eat some rice.
Walk on water and then get wet.
Splish splash.
We're in the second game, so... Saturni 2, baby.
Splish splash. I'm getting baptized, but
Dunk.
Okay, trial. Oh my god, is there a third day of this?
Oh my god, telling us spoilers!
Sorry, No, right, I forgot how this is. Very strange. Okay. This is trial part 3. Okay. Present the experiment sketch. What? Alright, this I do take issue with. Oh, fuck,
I
I'm
guess
in the
it
wrong
should.
one. Wah. Not...
Wah,
my-
wah.
That was my bad.
I guess it like shows the height of the machine, but I feel like this is one where you could also show the trapdoor.
You should be able to show the trapdoor. This is a... fuck, I used to have a name for this whenever you can't show the banana, you have to show the picture of the banana.
Picture of the banana!
Yeah, presenting on the wrong thing was definitely me, though. There's nowhere else. There's the fucking... Objection. It's not the picture of the banana.
This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings.
Okay.
We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in midair before falling down into the tower.
Clonk!
A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. You got teapotted. No, teapotting is when you point... Something is so obvious, there's no way you could get it wrong, but you're like 30 minutes ahead of the game. We got teapotted when we were trying to point out the hole made by the cat door maker in the last case of the previous game. That's teapotting.
That was annoying.
This, I don't remember, it was like... I had a name for it. It was like boat or air conditioning or something, where in the DLC case from Spirit of Justice, there is an aggressively bad recurring example where there's like a photo of something and then the like 2 versions of an item, which there shouldn't even be. And then they do not all work, even though they're all the same thing. It's awful.
You mean photocopying?
No, it's like the boat in this state, the boat in this state, a photo of the boat in the same state as one of the boats, and it's like, come on, man. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. I'm pretty annoyed about this. The same distance of 30 feet.
No! Oh my god!
The bad badger head strikes. Yeah, the bad badger head in investigations is also one of these.
Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward. Go ahead, counsel.
No, thank you. Yes, my lord. I didn't see that.
You will indicate the place to which you are referring on the same diagram.
Here.
Yeah,
I'm so scared. I hate these.
I think this would have been better if there was, like, measurements on the diagram.
Yeah, then it would have been obvious, but point to the experimentation stage.
It wouldn't have been obvious, but it would have been more intuitive.
I just think it should have been both of them. They're both the same experiment.
Yeah.
Especially if one of them literally shows a hole that you could have fallen through. Oh, not the court record.
Yeah.
Right.
Or something like where they have to be presented together, because it's like, what do you mean he fell from the stage?
Yeah.
Well, there was a hole. But that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with. Oh my god.
Which is exactly the point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage, but what we must also consider is the height of the stage itself.
Go on, counsel.
That's it, I'm done. It turns out that that the experimentation stage was built at a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, it's brown. You'll see that it's at the same height above the ground as the balloon and the balloon were above the crash site.
Exclamation.
Oh, he got Poofa!
When the experimentation got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam. Yeah, the fake explosion from when it was malfunctioning was like a smoke bomb. At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost exactly the same distance. I did it. Once again, my lord.
I'm now the judge.
You got it, you are. It is now my birthday. This all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but 2.
Objection.
The old 2 boats trick. From the series that brought you 2 boats, 2 wives.
My learned friend has no evidence the stage had such a contrivance in its design.
I super
Yeah,
do.
dude, right here.
Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the kinesis machine itself, it's true. However, the stage still stands. And take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's Oh, love it. Love
If
it
you're
when...
gonna present it anyway, why not just present them together?
Yeah.
Let the player do that.
Yeah, that's real dumb. That's real bad. That's such an easy oversight. Anyway.
Oh, Good lord! We presented these together! It makes sense! The metal grill and it's... Whoa!
You're right, sir! Yes, most likely blown open.
Tubular, my boy!
I love the idea that Judge like ran down is holding both up. My God! They're together!
He uses that animation of when they used like the 3D machine in the previous game where they have crossed eyes. Yes, most likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately. Would they not have already done that immediately? It's such
That
an...
is
They're a little
bonkers.
stoopy.
Mr. Drebber,
Hi.
it was you who built the kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the 2 bird cages that we used to carry out this deception. Whether Professor Hairbrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters, a machine designed to take Mr. Asman's life, and lay the blame firmly at the Professor's door, something that could only have been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber.
What is happening?
Objection!
Van Zeeks' bang falls off.
I mean, that's why it's uneven on both sides.
If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertion,
I have a photograph. What a waste.
At least drink it.
At least write it, you asshole!
You asshole!
Looking at Kazuma.
the prosecution would like to crush the defense's argument slowly but surely. Your argument fails to hold water on 2 counts.
2! You're a little away from the mic, Will.
I'm coming back.
Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff from the exhibition has attested to that.
And I believe members of Scotland Yard have also been on watch duty at every public experiment.
In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
I mean, you did have Gina watching it. Like, was that like there was a crossbow on the ground that she didn't notice? Like, she really count as a police officer? But
My only question,
I done got distracted by a little ladybird.
my only question is how they switched the bird cages at all. Like, did he like run up the tower?
There must have been somebody waiting in the tower. Like, I think there's more
They're
than
like-
one person
I-
involved here.
I don't even know.
Is there
if
like a tunnel? Maybe
did they have to switch them? Wouldn't you have just had
Well,
one fall down?
Yeah,
and then...
because the birdcage we have is the one that's busted on the bottom, meaning they would have had to switch them at some point because that would have been the one that went to the autopsy.
I guess. But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to.
The nonsense with the crossbow. That doesn't bolster your case at all.
I think it does. I think finding a
No.
crossbow at the scene is real suspicious. Okay.
No! The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensic investigation team's report is unequivocal. I'm right! And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so.
A motive? Do I have to think of everything myself? Here it is, the motive. Wait.
I have here a contract provided by the witness.
What contract is this, Lord Van Zeeks?
Yes, the one to kill Dr. As... Oh. Oh.
Wait a minute, make an L with my hand. Oh.
Heavens. The contract into which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim, Mr. Aslan, it reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunerations from government grants or other income.
Is
Remuneration?
that's a typo,
So-
right? It should be remunerations.
Let's find out.
No. This is money from the moon.
Remuneration meaning money paid for work or service.
Is
Yeah,
All right.
Wait. Remuneration. What the fuck?
Yep,
It should be
right.
Stupid.
Really? I've never seen that word in my life.
You British people, what the fuck?
Is remuneration also a word? Am I crazy?
Let's find out. True remuneration.
Kazuma,
No.
can you check this quick?
Yes, of course. No,
Really?
he's not.
All right. I guess I've just read that word wrong my entire life.
30%. Certainly very favorable contractual conditions.
Yes, a contract no one would actually ever propose under any circumstance unless they were trying to establish an alibi.
Because there was one very important provision bolted onto that clause.
What provision?
Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive.
In other
That's
words...
very specific.
Yeah, interesting. In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Asman's death. The diametric opposite, in fact. Like how remuneration is the opposite of remuneration.
Really fucked up, that one.
I'll be right back.
Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggest is nil.
Ah! Oh, yeah. Vacation.
I'm in the clear.
Vacation, all I ever wanted. It seems the defence's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Van Zeeks, you will submit the contract as evidence, please.
Let's take a look at that. Thank you,
Thank you,
Tiny
Court
Susato.
Mouse. Yes,
Mr.
Court
Mr.
Mouse.
Odiasman. Siv, do you mind if I read these? The investor, Mr. Odiasman, hereby enters into a contract with the provider, Mr. Enoch Drebber, to fund labor and materials for the construction of a super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. This is the shortest contract I've ever seen. Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remuneration. This is the whole contract? This is nothing but an alibi.
Odiasman's signature is bad as shit, bro.
Mr. Drebber may also may only uphold this right on the condition that both contracting parties are alive. Okay.
I mean, why was your life endangered, Drebber?
I'm back again.
If Drebber had
He's
no
probably built evil shit for other evil people before.
If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the birdcage onto the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been.
There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however.
Ugh!
There were 2 bird cages. The prosecution is unable to deny that.
Ugh!
So I'm sure you're right on the... I'm sure you're gonna get it! And I've no doubt that there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths too.
Ugh!
He's
No.
turning into a thwomp.
Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer.
Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machestify I bestify, and instead, my reputation is deastified. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
Objection.
Objection. Sorry to yell, everybody.
At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only one birdcage. Yet now we know there must have been 2. In other words, there was more to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit.
Get to the point.
The stage demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that Jello will ever get the rhythm for this, that you had no hand in the events that happened.
I'm angry. Mom, I threw up.
Mom, you threw up.
Whoa. So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved.
Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting?
I am the murderer. Wait, hang on. Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice.
Objection. An accomplice now? Well then, I presume you're prepared for what's to come.
Of course I am. Allow me to prepare.
He's not doing anything. Don't. Constable, give him another drink.
Are you getting ready to use reading Steiner? What are you doing?
Yeah, shut up.
Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious of crimes. If these accusations turn out to be false, then make no mistake. The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander.
Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter?
What do I do here? At the moment, this is little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber had an accomplice, or even if he really is the culprit here. One way or another, though, I have to make my position clear, as a lawyer. So what's my stance going to be? Did Drebber have an accomplice or not?
I mean, he had to have had an accomplice, but like...
Yeah, it's Ace Attorney. Bluff until you die. The defense is ready to name Mr. Drebber's accomplice. It was me. Somehow, the two bird cages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet, according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. Ow! But that inconsistency itself is a clue.
Counsel. Wait, are they implying that Courtney is the accomplice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems
My
that way.
lord?
You have received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name. So, your answer, please. Who do you claim to have been Mr. Drebber's accomplice?
MILF!
MILF. I'm gonna trust that the game is hinting me in this direction, but I'm also gonna look at the guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's correct. Okay. Take that! Thanks. Thank you, localizers. The name of the person in question is...
What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? Surely fear doesn't bind your tongue now. It's a little late for that.
Of course I'm afraid. After
Hee.
naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves. Strongheart's gonna be mad at us. I could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me.
I'm sure it'll be alright, Mr. No-Hodo.
Don't make fun of my nervous tick. Thank you, Miss Susato.
The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same to the enemy. Small!
Right then, here it goes.
You've kept us waiting long enough. Your answer, counsel, now.
The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Scythe.
What in the blazes are you talking about, Dr. Scythe?
The head of the forensic investigation team and the coroner who conducted the autopsy on the victim.
Well, who the hell is Courtney Scythe? Go
Who
for
the
it.
fuck?
We know there were
Yeah,
two
sure,
bird cages.
throw her in the slammer. I don't care.
We know there were two bird cages. So who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of a huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Then everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensics investigation team. When else could the switch have occurred? It can only have been in that team's presence. Angry! It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness stand at once to testify.
So anyway, I'm getting into Bitcoin.
You've got a nerve, lad! Standing up there and dragging the aunt's name through the mud!
I didn't mean to.
I know the woman very well. There's no better dead room worker out there. How dare you call her a criminal?
Shut up. My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End at night. That's
you
where
go to the
people
East End?
No! But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another grave problem with your argument. I don't like it. One which the prosecution demands you address at once.
A grave problem? That's why we're trying to get the coroner.
Oh my word!
The prosecution rests, that's funny. Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger?
What?
Certainly, if the birdcage containing the body of the victim was exchanged for another, that cage must also have contained a body.
And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone, even remotely resembling the victim, have been reported.
Oh, I just realized I didn't respond to something Piff sent me. Do you guys mind if I do that?
Sure.
Help the boy!
Help the boy. Help little Piff. He's already been stabbed
He's
by a
already
screwdriver.
dead!
He's been stabbed
Silly.
and dropped from a big height.
From a big height!
Much too big
It's a
for a
big
little
bug.
Piff.
Let's see.
Ooga booga.
Ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga
Man,
chaka.
whoever invented pickles was onto something.
Do you have pickles?
No, I have dill pickle chips. You want to come and grab some?
No, it's not the same.
If I had pickles, we'd be sharing them.
I appreciate that.
We still gotta get mustard pickles.
Mustard pickles are so fucking good.
Behind the credits.
Vanzish is like, I wonder how long I can hold this pose.
3. Please make all 3.
Pose. Slay.
Do 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 do.
Sashay away.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, shut up!
Shut up!
Okay.
That video fucks me up so much.
Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Asman.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's true, but Wax Sting ain't dead nor alive.
But Van Zeeks, one more thing.
If my argument is that there were 2 bird cages and there must have also been 1 person inside each. That's how the bird cages work. But I don't know if here's the thing though. I don't know if I've got an answer to this yet, have I? These things, they just bother me. What can I do to reveal
Hello,
how...
your Columbo impression is really good, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was such a...
It's because I spent a month listening to, like, every night while doing chores and preparing for my move, listening to the same 3 Columbo episodes on loop from my phone.
I would present the head.
I could, yeah. I want to... Like, I know it's the wax thing. I'm worried that we might be a little early. Yeah, with the wax work, we could.
Because we found that in Drebber's,
That's true.
Drebber's plate.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's try it.
So, what are the chances that Drebber's arm is going to come into play as the arm that was stolen?
Low, I think.
Okay.
Fuck. Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concerns. Hilarious. By presenting
You got his
evidence
ass.
that reveals the true nature of Mr. Asmund's body double.
Good gracious, evidence?
What is that?
Oh, I do hope this isn't filibustering, Counsel. I was expecting a name.
If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now.
The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that we haven't explained why we're pronouncing it that way either, have we?
No, I just said it funny one time and you guys were nice enough to keep it going.
It's because there's a Chris Fleming video where he's just like,
Float away like a balloon!
and I will float away like a balloon. It's so funny. Which means that any witnesses would only have seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it that appeared out of that explosion some 18 meters above the spectators? Aha.
Pipe bomb.
The body double inside the second birdcage was me, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. It's not out yet, but like one of the edited bits is just, these are my Pokemon, Doduo and Spoink, and I can't do it on command, but I like did fucking roll a K, and it's like, how did I pull that joke off? We know that the victim, Mr. Asmund, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage, and therefore, he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contains something else. What's been described...
Are we gonna unlock the helmet and it's gonna be Piff inside?
I hope so. You open it up, it's Piff's head. Thank you for freeing me!
Just hops away, boink, boink, boink.
What's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the crystal tower.
Yes, Counsel, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events.
And that body double, inside the second birdcage, was in fact...
It's all right, Mr. Naruhodo. I know my chair is squeaky, but you're ready for this. Just steel yourself and come out with him.
Why would I steel myself when I can wax myself? Hang on, that sounds weird. Thank you, Miss Susato, I needed that.
It's quite painful.
As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was, as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there.
What? How'd you get the full thing in here? What?
We brought it. I guess he's about to be on trial for the theft of that, so maybe they were gonna do it after this trial.
I wasn't aware that Tuspels gave you the full exhibit. I thought we just had the head.
Yeah.
So, all this proves is that the teleportation device works. How else could you bring the whole exhibit here?
Stop it. You saw them roll it in. Yes.
No!
Tiny circular teleportation devices. They're wheels, fancies.
I don't know about that. Maybe it's just a little slow. Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend.
Scary.
Yeah, we both of us at the same.
Should I stop this?
Now tell me, who's your daddy?
Whoa, no.
Well, we're gonna die.
What are you playing at?
Dying. Stand firm.
Kill me.
Oh, I hate how amusing Siv's like genuine visceral disgust. Like, it's so.
I can't escape this. I have to deal with this for the rest of my life. Well, you know that you should know how much that means I love you.
Someone in chat was like, wow, right in front of his eyes.
He doesn't remember, it's fine.
Stand firm now, Ryunosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. Ow. Slapped a Lego.
Genuine owl!
Yeah, that was so real.
A model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago. The Professor.
10 years ago? That's almost 12 years ago.
The Professor? Do you mean Hairbrain? Yes, he is a murderer. Thank you for agreeing with me.
No!
Case over.
Defeated!
You started by indicting the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice in this crime, and now you've moved on to indicting Waxworks.
Yes, that's about the size of it.
But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give?
Be nice to me. If you want to know why,
There you go, you got him!
ask Mr. Drebber.
I'm scared of waxwork.
Oh yeah, he is actually scared of that, technically.
Oh, right. He was the one who found the. Yeah, okay.
Oh no,
Just-
do not put my trauma on display.
Just days before Professor Harebrayne performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber adopted this model from Madame Tosfeld's.
He is my son. Do not hurt him. He is my son who has every disease.
I like that somebody early on, when the stream first started, in chat said, "It's him, the man who dropped the bolt that is Edgeworth on his doorstep."
I cannot take care of another child. I don't have the time. Gregory Edgeworth, it is up to you now.
Who the hell was that?
Nice bolt, though.
Abducted!
A little piece of garbage on my stoop. I'd better recycle it.
Father.
Oh my god. It knocks. And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum.
Then the timing.
In chat, 7 will couple moment.
Mr. Trevor!
At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now, the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Aswan.
Objection!
What the hell are you
Objection.
talking about?
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal?
Oh my!
Actually, I wasn't listening.
Fuck. That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. That he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner on a public stage in front of a vast audience.
This is a fair rebuttal.
Yeah.
And that, to effect the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide, corn girl?
Oh, I don't know. Seems pretty alright to me.
Wait. Yes, if you put it like that, of course, it sounds implausible.
My lord, I need to speak if you please. God, I love men.
I need to go
Sorry.
pee-pee. May I be
Sorry.
excused?
Judge? Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Okay.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Miss-
go ahead, Mr. Foreman.
Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement.
Very good.
Why are you...
So they're just gonna do. We gotta change their minds. They're all gonna be like, "You're wrong."
Guilty.
Not guilty, actually. I just wanted to be funny.
Guilty!
Corn!
Guilty.
Oh, we can't. We can't.
What do you mean?
We can't what?
Isn't it? We can only do a summation examination if it's
No.
not all 6?
No, that's literally every time it's all 6.
Okay, okay.
I knew that was going to happen. I'm Yam.
We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new
Alright,
tricks
clearly
in
we're
my
just
head.
phoning it in, so let's go.
Okay.
I've known that woman for years. She'd never been accomplished to anything.
I will never help another person in my life.
It's utter nonsense to think those two would ever be conniving with one another. Oh, I'm done reading now.
Dear. This is most troubling, but surely the waxwork the man stole is nothing to do with the coroner, is it?
I have had my own problems with the members of the police. I do not trust them much. I'm bad.
Do you have more to say, or is that...
No,
Why did you say guilty then?
I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture!
Using someone without right evidences is not a proper job, is he? I won't have it.
Well said, corn girl.
Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinion.
Given that its face is obscured and its build in no way resembles that of the victim, I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it as Mr. Asmund's body double.
Temerity? Ain't that Gara's sister? Yes, the applause is... Yes, the applause is deafening. And yes, I know it seems extraordinary, but that's the point. That's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes.
Like
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Did they just not bother to give me a new line this case? Like, she said that about 4 times now. Yes, I am girl. Hello.
I can't
Well, not
explain
always.
why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used. Why it had to be this model.
Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean?
Yes, and I'm convinced it's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim.
Well, if that's the case... Oh, what if the dead guy is her ex-husband or whatever? That would be messed up. We must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs.
Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of... Yeah, I know. We're doing it. We're doing it!
Oh, get it!
I like how earlier when we were trying to convince
He's
Betsy
just
that there were 2 bird cages, and he was like, oh, well, everyone says that it fell head first. And he was like, well, it was in the air, and nobody got a good look at it, and it's unreliable. And now that we're like, well, there was a body double, he was like, it didn't look anything like the victim! Everyone saw what was in the birdcage exactly, and it looked exactly like the victim, so...
Yeah.
Oops.
Okay, let's talk to good old ACAB magician.
So-
yes.
So Mr. Asmund is clearly the professor, right? Like,
Most likely, yeah.
yeah.
What sort of problems?
Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been a swarm of bats performing on the street.
Right.
Father?
I see.
Not now, my son. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to audiences.
Son, I had a son once.
So we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners, and the like. I don't care about your day!
Wait, this seems
An
safe.
excuse to make our lives difficult. Look at that awful portrait!
Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Automo? Oh, sorry.
Who are you calling a mass murderer?
Oh, sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him.
I don't look anything like the man you want to be locked up, Sonny.
Thanks, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ow, my leg. Perhaps
the
we
gun.
can move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said.
Want to kill him?
And clearly you do.
Back in my day, when we were a real country, it wasn't like this.
What was it like, sir?
We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did. And by Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then.
Respected you.
No one would have called a coroner into question in them days. A coroner's report was a hallmark of an investigation done right, especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it. She was the best of the boat.
Hang on, shut up. Hold on a minute. Thank you for just doing this. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens?
Sorry, got a bit carried away there.
Stevens is Dr. Scythe's maiden name.
Her maiden name. So that was before she married.
Of course, yes, silly me. It's Scythe now, isn't it?
Stevens.
Fucking rad.
I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently.
Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing. Not like now. I prefer the days when we were all taken by the thief-taker general who was fucking lying and inspired Moriarty because British policing is a hilarious history of constant failure.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name?
Well, yes, I don't see why not.
Okay.
Who's the other Stevens? I don't actually remember.
It's in one of the autopsy reports. I
It's
think
her
the
name from an old
professors.
autopsy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I
Okay.
knew that, but I thought there was another person with that last name.
Okay. And let's see. So I imagine I have to prop up something else. Okay.
Why would they be conniving?
Surely, let's try pressing this one. Because if we can connect a connection to the professor and Stevens, then they do have something. Why would you assume that?
Well, quite simply because that unsettling swindler has no relationship with a woman, does he?
I have feelings. True, as it stands, we don't know of any connection.
Oh gosh, but it would be delightfully romantic if they were somehow to have mutual interest in the waxwork.
My husband is a waxwork, you know. What?
A woman of society such as myself views everything in terms of relationships, you know.
Well, you learn something new every day, even if you don't want to.
One might wonder about a possible relationship between the defendant and this coroner woman. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome prosecutor just there.
This woman may be more astute than I've been giving her credit for. She has pegged me as gay.
If that's the woman's stance, then perhaps demonstrating some connection between the waxwork and Dr. Scythe would be enough.
Yes, I agree. As soon as we even have a whiff of a connection, she'll be the first to know. I am here.
Present the document, I guess.
I want to... like, I'm not confident enough to not press everyone.
Fair.
But you claim the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick.
That I did, but there's more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there?
Sorry?
No!
I grant you, given that this cage appeared from amidst an explosion, there'd have been no need to use a real person. But if
Hear your cheeks.
But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim.
I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency.
The point is, if you're going to make a claim about the waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science.
I keep my chemicals in my cheeks like a chipmunk.
Sorry.
Oh, those two mixed.
Oh,
Those
goodness.
two, they've mixed together to make a dangerous gas.
All right, now we have less jurors. I suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society. Oh, that's a point. We could ask him if he recognizes the statue thing, the trophy, and if he actually did give it to Drebber or whatever. But that perhaps means his mind could be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence.
Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside
Oh
that
no,
building.
it's Normalium!
Can I produce that or not? I don't think so. Not right now. Well, I can state quite categorically, sir, that we have no such evidence at the present time.
That much was abundantly clear before that brassy proclamation, I assure you.
The glass.
I don't know. And why you could...
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's...
Have a nice day.
I guess I do have evidence. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Hamburger. Hamburger. Oh? I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. What?
Like scientists.
I guess.
So given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here.
What color are
What
you
about you,
wearing, sir? Yeah.
So, just a quick question.
So, you don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror must be very trying. I do have some evidence that proves the waxwork was inside that birdcage, namely the glass. Why would it be the glass?
Yeah, the chunk of glass. Because we
Why?
found that in Drebber's, Drebber...
Oh, is
Drebber.
Oh,
you're
right.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a week. I
Yeah.
forgot that's where we found it. Okay, my bad. I was like, what does that have to do with anything?
Ooh, candy!
What's that? A piece of glass?
That's
Then
another
it's been
thing.
used.
To put in my cheeks.
Can you spit that out?
No, it's gone. It melted in the acid in my cheeks.
You find that glass? Good. Glass and piff belong together.
Though it's unusually thick for glass.
Oh, well, now that's weird. Yes.
Aw.
It's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket on the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass, though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Fucking goddamn it. No! Clicking history! I think I need to turn the text speed down. This is so annoying, and it's gotten worse as the game has gone on. Where is it? There's gotta be text speed.
You have text skip on, Jello!
No, that's...
No, that's
something else.
That's something else, Civ.
Okay.
Do not yell at me.
Scroll down. Wow, is there not?
There has to be. Wait. No, that's autoplay.
Huh.
No.
Reader?
Oh,
No.
that's for...
It's probably
Wait, figure this out. I'm gonna go pee. BRB.
Text skip is it allows you to skip dialogue that you haven't read already, but that's
Yeah.
not what I'm doing. It's going through the whole dialogue. I'm just double tapping it because it appears fucking instantly. Turn off text skip. That's not the problem.
Yeah, that's not the problem, gang.
There has to be an option for this. It goes so fast. It is, though. It sounds like it is. I'm gonna do it because I think you're wrong, and I wanna mock you.
Yeah, see? It straight up says what it does, gang. Enable or disable the skipping of unread text. That is very specifically for the skip feature. It's like a visual novel.
Okay. It's not ordinary glass, though. It's very thick. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower.
The crystal tower. Holy smoke!
Exactly. The centerpiece... I'm just going to click as fast as I can and see if it changes anything. The centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, where the very incident we're talking about took place. Oh, this is worse. Oh, God. Now I can't even fucking... I hate that. I don't like that at all. That's not what I was trying to do. I want to change the speed at which it crawls. Ugh. You could just stop double-clicking. I can't. It's so sensitive.
I would just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
That is bizarre that skip text applies to that.
Because
that...
It's so fast when this is like it's either just that or nothing, and I know that keeping that on is worse because the emulator we used for AAI 2 made it so I couldn't skip dialogue, and it sucked. I hated that. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass.
From whence this small piece originated. Is that it?
Precisely. So, what do you say? Like, see, it just blips into existence. That's so weird. Now that clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you, die!
Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it.
Classic Will character.
It's not my fault! In light of what you've shown me here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter.
In that case, Your Honor, before you will amend your statement now, please.
I'm a racist.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I still think we're fishing for, like... I'm trying to contradict 2 pairs of things. And I think I have 2 pieces of non-matching pairs right now. Let's see. This next girl what? Why did you go backwards? This next girl wanted evidence, right? This guy has evidence now. He believes it. Let's talk to her. Press?
You talking to corn, girl?
I've got to ask, why have you brought that corn into court with you?
Colonel Cobb? He's been grown back on the farm. Picked him off on me way into town. He's a proper nibbler, he is.
Yes, the nibbling seems to be taking quite a while. Maybe it could wait until after the trial?
Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. You need colonels at times like this. Whenever I have something big to decide, the colonels always point me in the right direction, see?
Yeah, I think if she's saying summit, I think she's supposed to be a little wave pop.
Whenever I have something big to decide, the colonel's like, I'm just a little cockney girl.
Yeah, she's just a little cockney girl.
I can't do it, Captain!
Can't do it!
I can't do it!
You're talking about your cob of corn?
Someone take the corn girl away from me!
Nibble nobble guilty bubble, nibble not guilty out. I can't fucking say that, Jesus Christ!
I can't. Oh my god, that's just happening, huh?
Perhaps it's akin to fortune telling with flower petals like people do back home.
So Professor Hairbrain's fate is to be decided by a cob of corn. Could you not at least wait until we've had more time to find the truth before deciding on the defendant's guilt?
I don't know about that. My tongue's awfully full already.
Okay, sorry.
Corn. Why am I so small? Awfully little.
What you don't know is each freckle is actually another eye.
Sorry.
That's my secret, isn't it?
I'm a spider.
I'm a freak of nature.
I'm a weirdo.
I'm a queen.
Amazing. I know it seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork blah blah blah, but on the other hand, it explains a lot. Just okay.
Oh, no, wait. He's... I think you can pit the lady with the police officer because he's talking about how Courtney Stevens was a coroner back then, and she was talking about relationships.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're the same person, therefore she has a relationship with the case.
Oh, nice.
Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious! To whose statements do you refer, counsel?
Mine! So, juror number 2, if that is your real name...
Oh, gosh, me? No, it's not, actually. What can I do for you?
I presume that you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement. It's brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Scythe, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before.
Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships to be irresistible.
I'm a pro-shipper.
I have nothing else to do, lest the hysteria take me. But oh golly, I'm afraid I fail to see what you mean.
Everything in my house is painted in lead or silver, usually both.
We do not speak of the green.
Dr. Scythe's maiden name is Stevens, and through that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it.
My goodness, evidence you say? How utterly enthralling.
Calm down.
Counsel,
I have nothing else in my life, please.
The court cannot overlook that last remark. I can't see it. Dear God.
I very much hope there is substance to your claim.
Sorry, I'm messaging Piff again.
Piff to piff communication.
Piff, you are still dead.
Oh no.
We are trying to find the Phoenix Down. It's no good.
I use a revive on Biff. Wait, why is Biff talking?
Oh no, that's the doppelganger!
It's the doppelpiffer.
Oh.
Piffleganger.
Piff, are you in the room with us? And is this Piff in the room with us right now?
Piff, if you're in the room with us, give us a sign. Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Scythe to the mass murderers known as the Professor. It's this, right?
Behold!
I have here a certain Piff has messaged me. Okay, just a thumbs up.
A 10-year-old autopsy report. What relevance does that have?
Statute of limitations!
Judge, I beg you to pay attention. It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor.
That's... Oh! He killed my bro... Ow, you stepped on my foot! Cosima!
Cosima!
The Professor's. But the man was a capital offender, so...
That's right. No, not a lowercase offender. This is the certification of death. Yes, no, that was right. The death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. James Bond's having a strong... The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Miles Edge Courtney Stevens.
Oh my, Courtney Stevens!
Strike a light!
No. It appears that the Professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Scythe 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork of the Professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't in fact resemble the victim, Mr. Asman, at all.
And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those events?
Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind that the Professor case is at the heart of a link we have yet to discover between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is all most extraordinary. We're surely obliged now to explore this further.
Just so you have more gossip, you suck.
I love her.
No, she cute, but like...
Quite right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Not while there is this cloud of suspicion hanging over the odds best coroner. Wasn't like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end. I changed my listing to double guilty.
Okay.
I'm making purple, leave me alone.
Okay. And then, what's the other one? I'm just gonna look at it.
Oh, do you have to pit him with...
No, okay, I was right. Yeah. It's just this and this. It's Corn Girl.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's just like, you need evidence. That's like what I thought, but I was like, is that vague? Like, I'm always scared with this game. Those two statements are crazy! Put your fucking con... We don't need to do this one. It's literally just, I don't think there's evidence!
There is, though, actually.
How serious the judge looks!
Oh, me too, babe. Poke along.
Success! If you can call it that. Guilty.
Thank you, counsel. That will do. You did it! Let's get back to the court case now.
I love it how, both times me and Amy have been the judge, we've just been like, all right, get it over with.
Well, he has a lot of repeat dialogue.
Yeah.
Just signals like, here, you're moving into this mechanic, and now we're moving back to this mechanic, so...
Well, thankfully, I think Scythe's gonna show up pretty soon, so...
I know. I don't mind playing the judge, it's just that, like, it's very clear to see being into, you know, I'm a mechanic rather than a character. Of the despicable professor. used as a body double for the victim in this quite extraordinary case. I must say, it's extremely hard to believe the assertion could possibly be true. However, it would appear that it does at least warrant further investigation.
Yes. Yes!
The truth, sir, by use.
It's
Jello,
a-
can we fucking read? Come on, man.
Not until things happen.
Then the prosecutor...
Listen, if you guys can't read at that speed. There we go. Okay, something's happening. Madame Tuspels, I really thought that Lord Van Zeeks would object to this whole line of inquiry.
Well, I concur. Make arrangements for Madame Tuspels to appear as a witness with immediate effect.
Wouldn't it be better to bring in the coroner? All right.
Listen carefully, my learned friend.
Oh, yeah?
You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box.
The court shall now adjourn for 45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Have a nice recess. Bye-bye.
Hey, chat. The next person who tells me not to skip, I will ban you. I am tired of explaining that I can read that fast.
Madame Tuspels, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord.
Bum, 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 bum,
We
bum,
fucking
bum,
can't.
bum, bum.
Please trust me that you don't need to.
Do, do, do.
I have edited down literally like 100 hours of us playing these games. And every time I skip the dialogue, I go, I wonder, did I skip anything important? And I frame by frame, and the answer has never one time been yes. Ever.
Ah, the Knight Errant himself!
Oh, have you been watching from the gallery, Mr. Sholmes?
I've been on the edge of my seat the entire time! Courtroom trials are fascinating affairs, as a spectator at least.
I'm glad you've been enjoying yourself. Remember that I am here? I have to ask, what on earth is going on? It makes no sense. What is this professor business all about? Doesn't look like any professor I've ever met before. Who even is he? Ah, of course. You were in Germany already 10 years ago.
Yes, the professor. When I discovered he was the one who had been abducted, a sense of foreboding stirred within me. What's that? What's the implication there, Sholmes? That the professor isn't a he? Anyway. But who knew the monster would come knocking at your door? My heartfelt sympathies!
As it turns out, Lord Van Zeeks is even more intimately tied to this case than any of us realized, isn't he?
I'm asleep. Yes, how true. I was drinking water. His great friend from university in the dock.
I just pictured her drinking like a bird at a bird bath.
Water and dust.
Now a waxwork of the killer who took his esteemed brother's life makes an appearance too. I imagine even the shrewd Mr. Reaper failed to foresee that kick in the teeth. An extraordinary move on your part, my dear fellow, to throw that in front of the man.
You make it sound deliberate.
You're the one who gave us the 10-year-old autopsy, Sholmes.
Shithead. I can't help but feel that this professor case is really very puzzling.
Oh yes, in what particular manner?
Stop being coy, you little bitch.
Just punches him and shoves the pipe up his nose.
Nerd. Well, there's Mr. Trevor, Dr. Scythe, and Lord Van Zeeks. It seems that everybody in the trial has a link to the case somehow.
Yes. Yes. In fact, I alone am not a member of the set. So that leaves me as an empty set, all alone with no intersection to any other. Probably Scythe.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
D. Dr. Scythe.
Donkey Kong! Oh.
Ah, Dr. Courtney Scythe. Nay Stevens. Good day to see you. Hello, Sholmes. That was very shrewd of you. What in particular, pray? You requested that 10-year-old autopsy report from Gregson, didn't you? Why would you assume such a thing? Because Gregson told me.
Her eyes are
Sorry.
so dead.
To think it's been 10 years.
10 years old.
10 years in the laboratory, wielding my scalpel.
Lean a little into the mic, Yam.
The smell of nothing but corpses and disinfectant.
A policeman on the jury had a lot to say about you, as it happens, Dr. Scythe, and I've accused you of being complicit in what happened. I'm hoping that you'll take the stand and tell the truth about what really happened.
That certainly won't be possible.
I have amnesia.
Lord Van Zeeks won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it.
Strongheart?
The Pandora's box you were warned about is the Professor case. But please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about it out of me.
But attempting to hide from the truth, that's cowardice.
I've always fought crime in the way that I see fit. I have no regrets. None at all. And that's all I came here to say.
She just flies upwards.
So, good day to you.
Goodbye, forehead.
She fades back in. Excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry! She mentioned it too. This Pandora's box.
Whatever does it all mean?
I don't know.
There's really no cause for concern. I assure you, when the trial resumes, the meaning will become all too apparent, whether you'd like it to or not.
That sounds like a reason for concern, you freak. Huh?
Now then, I believe it's almost time. I must make my way back to the public gallery. The edge of my seat awaits.
I think maybe you're enjoying yourself a little too much.
Ah, yes, one word of warning before I go. If in the course of the trial this afternoon you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone.
Interesting phrasing.
Well, this is a Baskerville case,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To the bitter end, you understand? Do not falter, whatever may come to pass.
Alright, I understand. Thank you.
Good. I shall make myself scarce then. I purchased a bar of caramel earlier, so I shall be gnawing on that as you gnaw away at the truth.
Bro, you got labels and stuff? You got your own, like, font?
Sholmes is caramel? What did that
He
warning...
wrote that. He wrote on that with markers, so no one would take it.
What did that warning from Mr. Sholmes really mean, I wonder? Especially that bit about whatever may come to pass. Oh well!
Evil.
It's time for the final chapter then. I'm determined to find out the truth, no matter what.
What?
Okay.
No matter what!
Susoto slam.
Die.
Oh, that thing is freaky in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, we go again.
We going!
Are you ready?
Going. You ready? You ready to go?
The prosecution is ready, my lord.
All right,
You
you
wanna
ready to go?
Do you want to go for a COURT?
Corn?
No!
Are you ready? Here we go. So we're finally here, defending for you. Shut up.
All right. As the court is aware, the case under our scrutiny began with a damaging incident at the Great Exhibition. Yet we now find ourselves embroiled in the details of a convicted felon who was sent to the gallows a decade ago. This trial has certainly defied all expectations.
As seems to be the fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord.
So then, let us begin our exploration of the defense's assertion that the waxwork was cardinally involved in this matter.
I've read that it's carnally involved.
It's cardinally involved. Oh shit, he ordained?
Oh shit, he a bird?
Jesus.
I'm losing it.
God, did you guys see that? Did you guys see that TikTok of the guy dressed as Anakin and Spider-Man?
Yeah!
the most crazy villain I ever fought was a Sith Lord by the name of Count Dooku. Oh man, Anakin, that's so insane. The craziest villain I ever fought was the Sandman, but I think there's a fucking Sandman?
My lord.
Are we still awaiting the arrival of Madame Tussauds?
Not at all. She is in the antechamber as we speak, and ready to be summoned.
Camera pans down, there's a summoning circle behind the witness stand.
So, like, the badge thing, right? Like, Van Zieks and Courtney have the same badge, but, like, where and why?
What are you talking about?
Eyes.
What badge?
They have the fucking badge that Van Zieks has on his sash that's, like, clearly supposed to, like, have belonged to his brother or something, but Courtney's got the same kind of motif in her outfit, but in black.
This? I think this is just the prosecutor's badge.
Okay, alright, okay.
At once, my lord. Bailiff, show Madame Tussauds to the stand.
I think you're too used to dissecting secrets and character design. Ace Attorney has never once been subtle about anything like that. Like,
Okay.
You'll just look at them and be like, ah, he's a candle. Like, there's no secrets. There's a case, it's fucking terrible DLC case from 6 where the bad guy is wearing a completely differently colored like amulet that clashes with the rest of his outfit terribly, and then it's like, where could that piece of evidence be? And it's like, come on, man. There's no secrets. Things are about to get intense. If Drebber, I don't know what that was. If Drebber is responsible, as I'm sure he is, it means he must have had an accomplice in Dr. Scythe. What connects them at the 0 for 3. What connects the pair of them is the waxwork.
That was Sato.
Oh. 0 for 4.
Yes, the model of the professor.
That's the key to the link between these otherwise holy shit. It's a tenuous link, admittedly, but at present, it's all we have to go on. I am Andrew from Michigan.
Hi, Michigan.
I too wish to stab at Holmes's face.
State your name and occupation for the court, please.
My name is Madame Esmeralda Tussauds. I am a waxwork artisan. And the proprietress of the Madame Tussauds Museum of Waxwork. Madame, you will have to pardon me for working as I testify. My new exhibit must open very soon.
Oh, so he finally gets a statue, does he? Now there are 2 of them in the world. This one's name will be Mycroft.
What expression is she carving onto that face?
A smiley
It looks to be sorrow, according to this document. A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this?
Oui, that is true. At first, we believed it had been kidnapped.
She's so cute.
A waxwork model? Kidnapped? Yes, my lord. There was a demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. However, according to what I have just been told outside the courtroom, that was not the true reason. I understand it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim.
At present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. This is the victim of the case in question, Mr. Odie Asman.
God, that's so funny.
But of course, I know him well. He is part of my odious personages exhibit. I detest to say what is evident, but Mr. Asman does not resemble the professor at all.
Yes, but perhaps perhaps their faces are very similar.
Are you suggesting that we should see how the damasked visage of the professor? I have here the key.
but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock.
Well, I don't give a shit. Open it. Fuck it.
Why? I understand there's like an artistry to it, and it's nice to have the accurate face under the mask. But like, why would you
No, it's
construct
'cause
a
it's a-
face at all?
That's true. I think it's mostly because it's a government secret.
I know. I'm just saying, like, from an artist's perspective, you
I
don't need the
suppose.
face, and why wouldn't you just do the Iron Mask part?
This is absurd.
Pardon?
I don't know what face you've carved onto your fancy figure beneath that mask. But clearly, it won't be that of the actual killer.
Indeed. The man was a secret.
The trial took place in a closed court. The proceedings were strictly confidential. The condemned man was summarily executed. His identity remains a closely guarded national secret. There is no possible way that a repository of tawdry exhibits could get his hands on that information.
Very rude.
Quel dommage.
Is that a spell?
It would seem you are unaware of the Tuspel's principles.
What principles?
Oh, Jesus, my fucking lip chaff just flew out of my hand.
The family Tuspels has always prided itself on sculpting the models à la perfection. Every detail, including the visage, is fashioned with complete fidelity.
It's visage.
Visage. Et voilà, les principles.
Can you lean into the mic a little? Yeah, you're very quiet.
Ah, principles.
There is a well-known legend about the Tuspels waxworks from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Tuspels family is said to have made a waxwork of the queen who was executed.
It's very funny that, like, with this mic, if I'm not screaming like I am with Shums, I have to be, like, 2 inches away from it. Anyway.
Oui, that is true. It was a century ago now.
I believe the queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death, actually at the guillotine site.
You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors. We Tuspels will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of our subjects.
Okay, so they got Drebber to dig up the corpse so they could get a replica of the face. Is that it?
Could be.
Well, he didn't dig him up, and I thought the professor like crawled out of his grave.
But that's the urban legend.
I'm willing to buy that. Maybe like they were digging up the grave and he was showing up and they had to skedaddle or something, and he found it. Whatever. I don't know why Drebber would have helped them do that and then reported it to the police.
I suppose, yeah.
Dear me, a somewhat disturbing tenacity of purpose.
It is the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of the subject. And it has been my family's secret for generations.
Do you mean to say that beneath that mask?
Oui, the true visage of the killer is there.
This is ludicrous. It's out of the question.
The professor spread terror throughout Great Britain. As a result, the Madame Tuspel special exhibit remains extremely popular even today. The killer, emerging from his own grave, it is a sight to behold. You should come.
Begins passing out coupons to the people in the audience.
I think, madam, it would be beneficial to hear your formal testimony on this matter. You will explain every detail of this macabre model and your personal involvement in its creation.
With pleasure.
How old is she?
Like in her 30s.
Nope.
Oh no, 26?
I think Scythe was in her 30s.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Scythe is 39.
The special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on a rumor that shocked society in London. An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse in accordance with the Tuspel's family principles. I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and created a mold from the head in the cemetery just before the interment.
God, you did when you were a baby? Damn.
When she was 16, it looks like.
I hid myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night.
I guess I appreciate your forthcomingness with this very serious crime.
Oh, it's not murder, so there's no crime.
It's not murder, but his body is a national secret, so very ballsy of her to go ahead and admit this.
As dawn approached, I was very worried that I could be discovered.
You grave robbed at 16? Oh, who hasn't done a little grave robbing in their teen years?
In the Victorian era, they start at 6.
The grave digger. The man sanctioned this?
It's a line from Community I really like. John Oliver is a recurring character on there, and he's a professor at the school. And he's aggressively British, and his Britishness is off. Like, absurd Britishness is a running joke with him. And his friend is trying to waffle out of, like, watching something with him. She's like, I don't know if I can... Yeah, I'll see you at precisely 6:30, or as the English call it, Gravedigger's Biscuits. Ciao!
Oui. I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family is celebrated for. Nobody else knew, only the gravedigger. What harm did it do?
So, you truly sought the face of that monster?
Naturally. I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret. But Tuspels would not be Tuspels if we did not insist on absolute fidelity in our sculptures.
I don't believe any of this.
I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, madam.
That's kind of funny. I wouldn't have expected him to visit.
A truly blood-curdling scene in which the murderer is emerging from his own grave.
The scene it depicts was the subject of many rumors in London 10 years ago.
That was an upsettingly good recreation of John Oliver's voice. That's another person I can do okay impressions of, actually.
I have here a newspaper from the time.
Why?
The special exhibit was based upon the picture in this article.
Odie Asman drew it?
What?
Odie Asman drew this.
He drew it.
Oh, fuck! Cool.
It was the most detailed account of what happened, as reported by the eyewitness who saw it.
Good catch, actually, Civ. I wouldn't have noticed that. I was too busy skimming all the other words around the article.
Man rises from the grave. It's too absurd for words.
It would be really upsetting to have a family member murdered by a figure who has this kind of presence in public culture.
The public enjoy absurdity, monsieur. That is why I have reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum.
And it's a waxwork from that exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the Great Exhibition, wasn't it?
That is correct. The professor you see before you here.
Most possibly. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
Listen to me, waxwork statue. Where were you at the time of the crime?
I don't want to talk about it.
Equally unsettling responses. Both of those voices come out of it at the same time. This waxwork links Treba to Dr. Scythe, and there has to be some reason for that which hasn't yet come to light. But I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened. I'll prove that Dr. Scythe and Treba were in on this crime together. Okay. She's being pretty forthcoming. Okay, it's based on a rumor. Let's, real quick, let's look at that new evidence.
Oh, yes.
Okay, we got this 10-year-old article. So obviously we got this. Hang on, I'm a little more interested in this article.
Mad Sheep Rampage. Oh, Charles Darwin, good job.
And the Great Stink, things that happened.
Ooh, I was about to be really mean, like, oh, it's about you.
Wow.
Okay.
Everyone knows that Jello was the reason for the Great Stink of 1892.
Kills you.
With the Great Stink.
Kills you faster. The specialist. Okay. Yeah, let's just press all of them. It's always easier. And that rumor would be...
A 10-year-old tale now, but one that no Londoner would ever forget.
All right. I know just what you're referring to, talking about, I think.
Of course, it couldn't be anything.
It couldn't be anything else. I am back with loud ice in a bag.
Yes, that story will never disappear.
The tale of the condemned killer rising from the dead. That is the central attraction of my house of horrors.
Shut up upstairs.
The rumor was whispered all over the city, and it was like this.
I hear about that thing. You think I heard about that thing?
It was in Lowgate Cemetery behind the prison in the dead of night after the execution of the killer. The interred professor slid back from the stone slab covering his tomb and emerged from his grave. A young man who witnessed this felt a scream welling up inside him. Stop! A bump in the night! But an instant later, he heard an ear-splitting gunshot from over his shoulder.
Oh.
What?
The bullet struck the emerging corpse, and he fell motionless once more.
But every night, Junkenstein's revenge.
The scream finally found its way from the mouth of the young witness, who turned and ran for his life.
Van Zeke shot his ass.
The corpse climbed out of his own grave.
And then somebody shot him? Who was it?
It was me,
No.
Madame Tospels.
Nobody knows, even today. But remember, it was just a rumor. Perhaps nothing more than a ghost story. The good people of London, they love stories like this.
So hey, Trevor, you confirm? Hey, come on, buddy? No?
That is why it was in every newspaper across the capital.
But was it just a story? I mean, this is exactly the scene that can be seen today at your museum, isn't it? Yes, I based it off of this photo, you clown.
Oui, the special exhibit was modeled on that very illustration, as I said. For a while afterwards, the contents of that article were reproduced in every newspaper imaginable.
Madame, might I say something?
No.
Please, go ahead, mademoiselle.
When something is described as a rumor, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely made up. I believe that often rumors contain elements of truth.
Ah, I see that people from the East can be just as astute as the people of Europe.
All right, okay.
Fuck! Unnecessary way to phrase that.
Can we be sure, for instance, that the professor's execution was successful?
It is not possible for the dead to come back to life.
I beg to differ.
Oh.
Except for my brother.
10 years ago, I was there in Lowgate Cemetery, after the criminal known as the Professor was killed by hanging. I took a wax impression of his visage from the corpse just before it was interred. So I can assure you, the man was dead.
I see.
Al is lying on my desk in Paris.
It would certainly appear that the condemned man suffered the intended fate.
After I shot him.
Okay. That was a lot more than I was expecting from the initial press. Is that true of every waxwork in your museum, then?
It is, assuming the subject is dead, of course. Live subjects have to cooperate in a similar way. I have letters from imprisoned criminals all the time, you know.
What sort of letters?
When my time comes, please make a waxwork of me. Comme ça.
No! No!
My museum is famous, monsieur. To be made into a waxwork is an honor, and for some criminals, a symbol of status even.
Because nothing says hardened criminal better than wax.
And it is thanks to one killer in particular that my museum has gained such popularity in London.
Which killer is that? The professor. Can you tell me about his rumor? Are you fucking this me?
I refer to the star of the special exhibit, of course. The professor, as I've said.
Whose form you claim to have captured by taking an impression from the actual corpse.
Oh, oui, that is what I said. The principals of the Tuspels.
And which person's corpse did you take an impression of?
I'm gonna eat
Sharpens her scalpel.
Madame Tuspels, why aren't you answering me?
Brings out her pot.
Surely
Why are you smoking in the courtroom?
Certainly, this is illegal, you know, isn't it?
It would seem the proprietress of this repository of novelties was blinded by monetary greed.
It had nothing to do with money. The man is part of London's criminal history. That is why I had to sculpt him, to record this history. It is the raison d'etre of the Tuspels Museum.
But if the man was convicted in a closed court and sent for immediate execution, then surely nobody but the members of the judiciary present know the killer's true identity.
I assure you, behind that mask is hidden the true face of the professor.
Do you realize what you're saying? The professor's identity is a national secret!
I understand.
I simply do not give a fuck.
And now that the truth about the special exhibit has been revealed, it must perhaps close.
Oh.
Of course it will, as will your entire museum, if you don't tread very carefully, madame.
That could be another interesting chapter in the history of my family, I think. Don't you?
I love her. She's like, I don't give a shit. Smokes. So 10 years ago, on the night of the professor's execution, you took a wax impression of his face from the corpse. Whose face was that again?
I will kill you.
Oui, exactement, as I have said.
I hit myself into... Okay. Hold it! Hold it! You were there longer than you expected to be.
I had some difficulties in capturing the subject's form correctly.
I'm just not very good at noses, to be honest with you.
As I removed the mask, the mouth of the cadaver fell open, and I had some problems.
The mouth of the what?
Cadaver, sorry.
Be nice to me!
I'm sorry. Dare I ask?
I don't see that word very often.
That them there cadaver.
Man had been dead for a short while already, you see. His muscles were relaxing, and consequently his chin would not align itself correctly.
Oh dear, what a horrible thought.
Under normal circumstances, I would have an assistant with me. However, that night I was alone, and as a consequence I missed my preferred window of time.
What do you mean?
When I take the impression of the visage of the cadaver...
Like the man who, like the great detective who I just killed in the stands.
I always wait until 3 hours after death.
Why 3 hours? Is that amount of time significant?
It is because of rigor mortis.
So they killed his ass at like 3 a.m.?
A Wrigley Mortis?
It's the name given to a phenomenon that occurs in recently deceased bodies. As a rule, 3 hours post-death, the muscles in the body begin to stiffen. By approximately 10 hours post-death, the entire body is completely rigid and inflexible. And from then from that point on, the muscles slowly start to revert to their relaxed state. The effect is often used to estimate the time of death when a body is discovered.
Well, that was an education, if a slightly scary one.
As the Mademoiselle says, rigor mortis commences 3 hours after death, and it starts in the jaw.
Oh.
I see. So that's why you wait.
before that time,
Okay.
the mouth falls open. And it is very difficult to do my work.
Ugh, it's getting hard for me to do my work with all this talk of corpses. You are a murder defense trial. I wonder if that information the court just heard from Adult... Yeah, significant. Why would I... The information about rigor mortis that you just shared with us, would you mind including it in your formal testimony? I believe it could be significant, you see.
Of course, I do not mind at all.
I can't help feeling that after this latest topic, the atmosphere in the courtroom has become extremely grave.
This is no time for jokes, Mrs. Otto.
I like you!
Only one person thought it was funny.
The way you did that laugh, I was literally expecting you to go like, and just have him fly over and like maul her.
Madam, kindly amend your testimony as discussed.
Bien sûr.
Okay. I imagine that has some problem with the time of death at some point. Let's look at his autopsy report. Death by hanging, apparently.
Midnight.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's too many hours.
Well, she said the rigor mortis was gone, right?
Yeah.
Or...
No, okay, so the jaw
Because
slacked...
it was before... Okay, it was before rigor mortis. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Rigor mortis being the phenomenon you described where the corpse becomes stiff after death. Whose corpse was that? I think you said that it starts at the jaw. About 3 hours post-death, is that right?
Oui, c'est ça. Of course, the exact duration depends a little on the season.
I didn't realize a waxwork artisan would be so well-versed in the subject.
No, no. That is only elementary knowledge in the field of legal medicine.
Well, I had no idea about it, but maybe I won't admit to my ignorance about forensic science.
I could ask my father to give you a very simple primer if you'd like.
Not if he's the victim in one of the remaining 2 cases. Why would you say that? I think corpses should be your domain. I'm not good with them.
Oh dear, I'll do my very best.
Okay. Just pressing all the stuff. You say that dawn was approaching. What was the time of day then, approximately?
Well, I could not say. But when I left the cemetery with my utensils and wax, the morning light was becoming visible.
The execution took place on 17th June, which had the earliest sunrise of that year.
Convenient.
I remember it. I was very annoyed.
Oh, sorry, that's me. Indeed it did. First light would have been around 4:40 in the morning.
That really is early.
The fact is, I had very little time, so I finished my work in half an hour. It was necessary to complete the impression and bury the body before daybreak, of course. If somebody had discovered me there, it would have been a catastrophe. So I had to hurry.
Is it me, or does Mr. Sholmes seem to be taking shape more quickly now, too?
You certainly appeared to go to extraordinary lengths for your work, madam.
I wonder. Is what she said significant? Yes, it's all significant. She's amazing. Madame, those details about how long it took you to complete the sculpture and the early sunrise, could you include them in your testimony? I believe they may be significant.
Of course, if you would like to.
You're quite right, Mr. Naruhodo. It is intriguing. A sunrise at 4 in the morning would be absolutely unimaginable at home, wouldn't it?
It's not quite what I meant by significant.
Find joy in things.
Amend the testimony! Do it!
Who are you, Neil deGrasse Tyson?
With pleasure, my lord.
Do I get to keep both of those, or just the final one? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like, I feel the contradiction. I'm not sure where to poke to get it. Luckily, I've got this.
It kind of seems like you could poke either of them. I think you just need to.
Yeah, it
present.
seems like that, doesn't it?
It does, but like,
Okay.
I guess I would pick the time of day.
Oh.
Since you'll be talking about the time first.
BRB real quick.
Okay.
We're still talking, huh? No.
The next one.
No, it's this. I just looked it up.
Okay.
Because we clearly, we see where it's going. I just want to make the mechanics go smoother. Madam Tospels, I have here an autopsy report that was filed 10 years ago now. It confirms the death of the professor following his execution at the gallows.
And is that a problem?
I believe it is, because your testimony and a particular detail in the report completely contradict one another.
Quoi?
Are you going to explain yourself, my Nipponese friend?
What if I just didn't?
You could do that.
According to her testimony, Madame Tuspels was creating her wax impression just before dawn, and at that time rigor mortis had not yet set in. Am I correct so far, Madame?
You are, yes. As I said, stiffening of the jaws, the first sign of rigor mortis, 2 or 3 hours after death. But the man's chin was limp, so he could not have been dead for a long time.
But on the other hand, if you look at Dr. Syed's report, it quite clearly states the following. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th June.
No.
I'm so amused by just no in that pose. Meanwhile, Cosmo's just like, I have no opinions on any of this. If the professor indeed died at midnight that day, then by the time you were sculpting his face, rigor mortis would have already set in.
Oui, yes, you are right. The chin, it would have been completely stiff.
In other words, this report is wrong.
No coroner makes mistakes when recording the time of death. The very idea is absurd.
Unless she's a hack fraud.
No!
In that case, there's only one possible conclusion. The execution didn't actually take place at the stated time.
Impossible!
She's so short.
Order! Order! Counsel, this is beyond folly. Not only do you indict the author of the report, Dr. Scythe, but you also implicate members of staff at Barclay Prison where the execution took place.
Look, man, all I'm saying is either this woman is lying and implicating herself of a serious national crime for no reason, or those people are lying. By heck!
Extraordinary!
Not in my day.
My learned friend appears to have overlooked one very crucial fact.
What fact?
The professor died that night, without question.
Because I shot him!
He did, of course he did.
He only talked to me a couple times while I was carving him.
Oh, well that's it then. That's the contradiction, is that her autopsy was correct because she was going off of the time of rigor mortis when he got shot crawling out of the grave.
No.
No?
No, I don't want to explain why that's wrong, but just because I don't want to.
I think it might be that he died earlier, and that she was working off a body that the rigor mortis was after.
I mean, I think the coroner's straight up fucking lying.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and I think he was killed a full day before, and rigor mortis set in and then vanished.
Yeah, something like that. I think she might have done it actually, or something. She might be anyway. She definitely has a connection to him.
But what if he didn't die at the gallows?
Didn't die at... Are you insane? What exactly are you suggesting did happen in that case?
It's almost impossible to believe, but it would explain the link between Dr. Scythe, the professor, and that one other person of interest who I don't remember. I have evidence that will explain exactly what I'm suggesting to happen that night.
Counsel, present the evidence at once. The evidence that allegedly explains what really happened on the night of the professor's execution.
Okay. Alright.
this trophy.
Oh, Odie Osmond, because...
Yeah.
What happened that night is written very plainly in this newspaper article. Executed criminal returns in the dead of night at local cemetery.
You're suggesting it was a corpse coming back from the dead now?
That doesn't happen unless they've been injected with blood.
Well, if the article is to be believed, yes. Renosuke, please. The professor, assumed dead following his execution, emerged from his grave and was killed again.
Don't be a fool. That's simply a rumor published by a gutter press.
Can you be certain of that?
Are you serious?
I kind of
What
wish,
if?
I kind of wish that we ended up visiting his office after this case, because after like this vibe, which is like, I don't know, I'm just making shit up. What are you doing? It would be so funny to be like, hey, wandering around your house. What?
So, okay, here's a weird kind of shot in the dark. So, what if he was, quotation marks, killed or executed at the correct time, or like at a certain time, but instead of being executed, he was given whatever fucking Romeo and Juliet drug that Kazuma had, and then he was supposed to come back to life, but somebody else killed him because they knew.
Yeah, that could have happened. The point is, as the article says, there was a witness to what happened.
My word! Yes, indeed! How would you say that, Civ? Maui?
Maui.
Maui?
Oh, Maui, the young man who stole into the cemetery by chance that night.
Of course there was a witness. The story didn't write itself, but obviously the man made it all up.
And
Guys.
in any case, this was
Guys.
10 years ago now. There would surely be no hope of finding him.
Objection, are you fucking kidding?
What?
Oh,
Do you know who it could be? Who could it be? Who could it be?
Clicks Holmes.
Kazuma, little German boy.
Little German boy!
I am
Not
immortal.
even born yet!
The man in question is Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Drebber?
Chat be like, why did you skip that dialogue?
What?
They
The
just,
guy from before?
they just look, he's gone, he fucking bailed. The special
He's
exhibit.
like wiggling out through the window.
The special exhibit in the House of Horrors at Madame Tospel's Museum of Waxwork recreates that decade singular old scene in great detail. Love the implication that she got the chance to find and interview this guy and be like, let me make an accurate waxwork of you. The condemned criminal
Yeah,
emerging
sure,
from the
whatever,
grave.
That sounds fun.
That's funny. And beside the tomb, a young man with a lantern stumbling upon the terrifying sight. And that young man was me. Is a 10-year-old Mr. Enoch Drebber. Mama. I am frightened.
Hola! Hola! Surely not, Council!
Yeah.
Drebber was there in Lowgate Cemetery, but
Oh.
What does all this talk about Mr. Drebber? Is the name significant?
Of course, Madame Tuspilus doesn't know, does she? Yes, it's extremely significant, Madame. To your situation as well, in fact.
What situation?
The theft of the Professor Waxwork from your museum some days ago was perpetrated by the very same man.
No! But that would mean...
Madame Tuspels, it would appear you know the name, Enoch Drebber.
Yeah, I had to sculpt him.
Oui, yes, I know it. But from long ago, in the past.
What?
Oh my!
Good gracious!
Alright, everyone dial it back.
Explain yourself, I'm shitting and farting.
Cosima just wincing.
God damn, guys, it's not a revelation if we've known for like 2 hours.
Well, you're too powerful to be doing stuff like that.
Explain yourself. I'm shitting and farting.
This ain't fair at all.
If it ever comes up again where characters are just like, what? I think I'm just gonna start saying that as a stock phrase. That's so funny.
Someone in chat, it's the Great Stink.
The story of the young man and the terrible sight he witnessed in the cemetery 10 years ago was published in the very single newspaper in London and throughout Great Britain. Every single newspaper.
The very single one.
The very single. The only one we have. However, in all of the articles, the witness was simply described as a certain young man. No details were published about his identity. His name was never revealed. That is, apart from in one newspaper. The Daily Circus. It is the paper from which comes the article I have already shown the court.
You're saying that his full name was only publicized in that article?
Good gracious! Yes, here it is! The university student who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch Drebber, a disciple of science at the University of London and a resident of the students.
Unbelievable! Can't break it out so early, but I'm really...
You have yet to explain who was in the grave!
When I read the article, I went to meet with the man. His discovery of the condemned criminal coming back to life in the cemetery in the dead of night.
In case no one's done it, can somebody please clip Will do that? Explain. Shit.
Shitting and farting.
Would make
Oh!
a perfect exhibit.
That's a nice little detail. They have the fucking Krakatoa eruption there.
Yeah, all of these
I
are
saw
real
that.
articles.
Make a perfect exhibit for my House of Horrors, whether it was the truth or not.
Great Stink!
I see. So you went to meet Mr. Drebber in order to sculpt a waxwork of the man, did you?
Exactement. He was studying science at the University of London in those days. He was just a poor little baby student. I paid him £5 to model for the waxwork. And since that time, it has been in my museum to recreate the scene of terror from the cemetery.
Who is Enoch Drebber?
Tell me!
Shaking Cosima.
Tell me!
I love that she stands like she's 10% into a curtsy at all times. So, 10 years ago, a young man appealed to the public about an extraordinary event he'd witnessed. A criminal who'd been put to death, re-emerging from his grave in the middle of the night. But the public treated his claim as nothing more than an amusing anecdote that was soon forgotten. It was not soon forgotten. 10 years later, what do you mean soon forgotten? What are you talking about? The same man steals a waxwork model of the executed criminal, ostensibly to use as a body double for the victim in the case we're discussing here today, even though the waxwork's build is a poor match for the victim and its face is obscured by a mask. So the question is, why would the man do such a thing? Which brings us to 3 days ago, when the birdcage crashed into the Crystal Tower. If the birdcage had in fact contained not the body of Mr. Asman, but that same waxwork, the coroner from Scotland Yard who investigated, Dr. Scythe, would have noticed immediately. And yet, she submitted this autopsy report for the victim, which the court has seen earlier. Why?
Because the waxwork was that of the professor. Is that what you're saying?
Dr. Scythe put her name to a document confirming the death of a condemned criminal who was still alive. A criminal whose apparent resurrection was witnessed by Mr. Drebber. But that misconduct was a deadly secret the coroner would do anything to protect. Which is precisely why Mr. Drebber used that particular waxwork as the body double.
Erg.
For some reason, I'm really surprised that, like, that conclusion was so readily given to us.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not upset. I'm just, that's unusual. My lord!
Oh, is he implying that she was an unwilling accomplice because she opened up the waxwork and saw it was the professor and was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
Well.
I think essentially Drebber knew that if that happened, she would fuck with the coroner's report, like on her own volition. Or maybe he was directly
because she said
threatening her,
she was doing like her own will, like she did what she deemed was right. So
So she shot him. This court must summon Dr. Scythe to the stand. The defense is determined to find out exactly how the coroner and Mr. Drebber are connected.
But according to the missive I received this morning through the prosecutor's office, Dr. Scythe is unable to participate in these proceedings. Is that not the case?
He's just been standing there with ruined pants for 10 minutes.
She told us so herself, didn't she?
The professor's
I won't
rumor.
do
The things I said. Don't fucking talk to me anymore.
She was nice. Something happened on the night of that killer's execution 10 years ago, and surely nobody would want to get to the bottom of that more than Lord Van Seeks. Or Zykes, even.
The prosecution calls for the instructions in that missive to be scrapped.
Get it?
But Lord Van Seeks, the missive was issued from the Lord Chief Justice's office.
Yeah, well, I'm in the aristocracy, so what do I care? I don't need a job.
The assigned prosecutor has the final say on policy in any particular trial. In other words, me.
Yeah!
Let Enoch Drebber and Dr. Scythe both take the stand together.
Yay!
fight, fight, fight!
My god, Amy, digital date.
Order! Very well, I will uphold your request. Bailiff, send a subpoena with immediate effect addressed to Dr. Scythe of the Forensics Investigation Team.
God, she's gonna be fucking furious when she gets that.
She's gonna be so pissed. The woman is compelled to attend on Her Majesty's orders.
Alright then. Enoch Drebber and Dr. Scythe. If they weren't colluding with one another, this crime never could have been committed. I'm just a stone's throw away. I can feel it. The truth behind all of this is about to come out. And, oh, you too? Yay!
I'm still here.
Get off the stand.
I don't want to.
Thank you for your attendance at such short notice, Dr. Scythe.
I'm disappointed in you, Lord Van Seeks.
Boo-hoo.
You've completely betrayed the agreed policy of both Scotland Yard and the prosecutor's office.
Betrayal is not in my nature, as long as the truth isn't compromised. If it is, if there's even a hint of wrongdoing, then no matter whom it concerns or disgruntles, I will pursue the matter to the bitter end, as would any prosecutor worth his salt.
Mr. Drebber, you took the victim's life by means of a machine that you constructed in your workshop. And Dr. Scythe, as the investigating coroner, you were the first on the scene to examine the victim's body. It is the belief of the defense that you collaborated with each other and were both complicit in this crime.
And where's your evidence?
At present, we have no definitive evidence, but we do have a very significant clue.
What are you talking about?
Me. I'm talking, of course, about the waxwork.
Hey, I'm this little guy.
This model of the killer, known as the Professor, who was sentenced to death 10 years ago.
You don't need to tell me.
Allow me to regale you with the rumor of his resurrection. It was there in the graveyard. Shut up, stop talking. And there, Mr. Enoch Drebber saw him. I hate you so much.
Sitting and farting.
I witnessed.
I haven't stopped for the past 30
I
minutes.
witnessed the man's execution with my own eyes! And officially pronounced him dead.
That remains to be seen.
Is that so?
According to the newspaper reports from the time, on the night following his execution, love, no one pronounces it that way. I've just decided that newspaper is a way people, anyone that like a non-carnival barker might phrase it. The killer came back to life.
Don't waste my time.
And the sole witness to that mysterious event was you, Mr. Dreber, wasn't it?
Oh, he's shaking in his little boots.
He's shaking in his glove. If what you saw in the graveyard that night 10 years ago wasn't some chilling fiction, but reality, it would make you privy to a very great scene of Dr. Scythe's secret, whatever. A secret so profound, it could compel the coroner to agree to collaborate in your evil scheme, in fact.
My what?
Mr. Dreber, tell the court. Tell everyone the truth of what you saw that night in Lowgate Cemetery.
So he was the student who saw it.
You can see the resemblance, actually, can't you? With the man in Madame Tussbus, I mean.
Surely he's not going to claim that was really what he saw, especially,
He was research student at the University of London, wasn't
I'd
he?
have been too clever for his own good if you...
There's a third time bomb.
What's inside of me?
What an interesting twist.
B?
Said the writer.
When at the time not one person would take me seriously. Yet now here we are, 10 years later, and suddenly my story matters. And in a court of law, too.
Bro, you Monte Cristo it?
Pipe bomb.
Very well then, if everyone so wishes. Let's be
Jello, turn it up.
Let's be frank. I'll tell you the truth of what happened that night, for what it's worth.
This guy's a freak.
So, Mr. Dreber, your testimony, please, about the events of that night 10 years ago. You will tell the court exactly what you stumbled across in Lowgate Cemetery.
My dance moves. Yes, of course, as you wish. How much? I think I'm gonna. Oh, we're for sure calling it here. Okay.
Yeah. It's
All
going
right.
to be chunky.
Snape,
Good
Severus
stuff next
Snape.
week.
Listen to the testimony first?
boy.
No.
Why would I do that?
Listen.
We'll just have to read it again next week.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yep. Bye.
Toodles.
Bye.